Hello, and welcome to the April edition of Comments from the Capitol. I'm State Representative Ed Brooks, and I'm here to answer some of the questions about what's happening in the legislature here in Madison. This month we'll continue talking about the budget process as well as some recent legislation that we passed. Now for some of the questions. Greg from New Lisbon writes, last month you told us the governor's proposed changes to senior care were slated to be removed from the budget. What's the status of some of the other proposed changes, like the move towards countywide assessment? Well, it's a good question, Greg. One of the things that the Joint Finance Committee did early on was they removed a number of policy things from the budget. One of those was the topic of countywide assessment. So that's off the table for now. Perhaps if it gets resurrected, it'll have to be a separate bill where we'll have a lot more intense debate on it. But thank you for the question. The second question comes from Janet in Camp Douglas, who writes, I recently read that the Assembly passed several bills. Do you have any comments on these? Yes, I do, Janet. We passed a number of bills last week. We were in session. I think we passed a total of 26 bills, but two bills really stand out. The first one is Senate Bill 15, which deals with banning plastic microbeads. It's a bill that will be phased in over the next several years. It's a bill that prohibits the use of microbeads in probably healthcare items, things like that, things that end up in our lakes, and they end up in the gut of fish, and therefore they are not good. And this has been a bill that was developed through the use of technology. The people that produce these recognize the problem. They've changed their process, and so it'll be an orderly phase-in, and eventually they will no longer be able to sell them. The other bill we passed was Assembly Bill 114, which is called the Stolen Valor Bill, and it bans people from impersonating our military servicemen and women. It's been a growing trend of people impersonating our soldiers, and they do it for personal gain, and certainly this is wrong. And we salute all of our members of services, and we want to protect them and their valor, and therefore the bills pass. I would like to say that of the 26 bills that we passed, most of them, if not all of them, were unanimous with bipartisan support, and I think that's a sign that we are working together in the Capitol. Our last question comes from Becky in Rock Springs. I saw your press release from that the Joint Finance Committee removed changes to the DNR and DATCAP boards. I just wanted to say that I agree with this move. Well, thank you, Becky. A lot of people agreed with that move because the two boards, the governor had proposed making them advisory. And we heard from a lot of constituents throughout the state at the various joint finance hearings. This was an issue that people really were passionate about. And as a result, the Joint Finance Committee removed them from the budget. They will remain a policy board. In the future, if they're going to be changed, it would have to go through the regular legislative process. And again, it's input from people like you that spoke up and were heard by the Joint Finance and the rest of the legislators, and therefore we were able to make those changes. Over the next month, as we go forward, you can expect many more changes because the Joint Finance Committee is meeting on a twice weekly rate, and they're taking items out of the budget and also adding things in as we go down the road. That's about all we have for this month. I would want to point out that we sent out our spring survey. I would ask that you fill this out and mail it in. However, if you want to go online, you can go online to www.repedbrooks.com and fill it out. And therefore, we'll be able to tabulate your opinions on the questions that we ask in it. So that's all for this month. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you in May.